Chester.
We got one of the greats coming with us, and we got Mr. Sam Jones right over here. Hey! Mr. Jones, how are you?
All right, that's it. So I guess it's appropriate to say when the wrestlers just left, hello, brother! And sister!
I think you're big enough that you could have been a wrestler.
Well, yeah, I get that sometimes. They, just on the street, if they don't know me, they'll say, hey, you wrestle with the WWA or whatever.
Right. Now, have you ever been interested in wrestling at all, or is
in high school, I played football.
Okay.
So the wrestling coach grabbed me my freshman year. We're talking 1968, right? And he said, I want to show you something. I said, where are you going? And I knew he was a wrestling coach. I said, look, I don't want to wrestle. He goes, no, just come on. So he took me to the gym where they wrestled. This was in southern Florida. Okay.
Wrestling's huge.
So it's already 100 and something degrees outside. He opened up the smaller gymnasium. It was about 125 degrees. It smelled awful. And I almost passed out from the smell because they were just working out. And I said, no, I can't do this. He goes, oh, come on, it's a little hot. I said, no, not only is it hot, but I'm not into like grabbing another sweaty man, okay? In 120 degree humidity. Fair. And anyway, I didn't do that, but I got a lot of respect for these guys. But what's his name, Beefcake?
Yeah, Brutus.
Brutus, so I'm in Sweden, and I never really understood what they did. So we're in Sweden together, and the other guy, who's the other nasty guy? Nasty Boys.
The Nasty Boys, Brian Knobs and
right.
Skeggs.
Yeah, so anyway, they're talking, he was there, and I just asked him, they were bragging, not about something else they were bragging about. So I just asked that normal question. I said, look, just give me what it's like, the day in the life of a professional wrestler. And I was blown away. Here's what he said. He goes, well, we fly into a city, we rent a car, check into the hotel, get something to eat, rest, work out in the gym, rest, and we perform that night. I went, okay, that's kind of cool. And here's the catch. How many days of the year? He said about 330 days of the year, and that light bulb went off in my head. Oh my God, There's not one day of rest or recuperation, of resting the bodies. That means that they had to perform injured and hurt. And that's when I respected what they do. Just phenomenal. I would be screaming like a baby in pain if I had to go in the ring the next day.
That's why
after an injury. And then I asked that other question, which when you get older, those embarrassing questions, when you get older, you ask them. So I said, well, what about rehearsal time? He said, Sam, look, we're all trained in the same techniques, so we don't rehearse. I said, what do you mean don't rehearse? He goes, no, we're all trained in the same techniques, and we'll just give a little wink or a nod. But he said, when we give that little wink or that nod, or that little code thing, half the time it goes terribly bad, terribly wrong, and that's when they get hurt. Yeah. So half the time, they got hurt. So I really respect what they do. Crazy.
That's when you start learning about, that's the next thing you got to learn is the receipts that they call them, is when when they call for a move and someone doesn't do it and you actually hit them, that other wrestler will actually physically hit you to give you a receipt so you don't make that same mistake again. Now, can you imagine that on set? That must be what it's like working for Tarantino, I hear.
Well, I never worked for him. I'd love to. I saw him at the Saturn Awards. Great guy. Mm-hmm. But one of the movie business stunts, I did all my own fight scenes.
Right.
I'm trying to think. I didn't do all the stunts, but one time, especially in Flash Gordon, I was in the rocket, Ajax, crashing into where Ming was. And so they lit the whole dash panel on fire. So the special effects guy said, okay, Sam, it's going to get really, really hot. So just kind of sit, we only got one take with this, but you got to sit in the chair for as long as you could take it. Okay, so, all right. And I'm, doing the controls. and we're flying in, and the fans are going, but the fans are behind the flames, so they're blowing the flames like on my body, and the hair is blowing, and it's getting really hot, and I'm starting to tap out, but I don't, we only have one opportunity. So I said, okay, now it's getting really bad. I'm starting to cough, and all of a sudden I look at my forearms, and the hair is completely gone on my arms. Okay, it's burnt off. So that's when I just got up and left. Okay. He said, great, we got the shot. I said, yeah, after the hair burned off on my arms. But yeah, I let the stuntmen do their thing. But as far as hurt, crazy enough, out of all those 42 years of movies, still doing it. In Ted, I think Ted 2. Was it Ted 1? In the party scene where I fought the little Asian guy with the duck. Was it Ted 1 or Ted 2?
That was 2. Oh, was it 1?
Was it Ted 2? Where I punched through the wall? Okay. Well, anyway, the action called for me to, when I punched the wall, then the Asian guy puts a butcher knife, right, through the wall. And my instructions were to grab his wrist and bite it. But, I just started to improvise. I wasn't thinking. When I saw that big butcher knife come through the wall, I just did a basic front snap kick with my foot. And I tore, not the hamstring, but the little muscle running parallel. I think it's called the spinonitis or something. So I ripped that puppy in half. And this was before the big fight scene, right?
Wow.
I was crippled. I couldn't even get up. The stunt people had to carry me almost. And so that's when they brought the stunt double in, because I was kind of priding myself on doing all my own fight scenes. I couldn't even move. So that's one of the few times a stunt double actually doubled me for a fight scene. And it was funny because they had this, I don't know why, but they had a $10,000 wig on me. Seth MacFarlane did not want to dye my hair blonde and use my own hair. So they didn't want to put that on the stunt man, $10,000. So they got some Fredericks of Hollywood, some $10 wig, right? So if you go back and look at that fight scene, you'll see this wig that's all crooked and stuff and flopping around on this guy who did the fight scene. It's pretty funny.
No, it sounds like you really enjoy getting physical in movie roles and stuff like that. Yeah. Now, you mentioned you were a football player, lineman, or? I was
a tight end.
Tight end.
Offensive end, yeah.
Nice. All right. So you're used to getting hit on every play then, basically.
Well, I didn't have good hands for catching, so they used me for blocking quite a bit. Yeah.
Nice. Now, do you purposely go out and look for these more physical roles, or
I thought you were going to say, do I purposely go out looking for fights?
Actually, well, we are in Hamilton, so you never know.
In a way, I know it's crazy. I kind of go out looking to break up fights. I pride myself. I was a martial artist for years, Marine before that. Mm-hmm. So I think I've broken up 50 fights, and most of them were targeted towards me. And we have to use our heads. We can't, we can't take, everybody's, sensitive these days. We're all getting offended. We're taking offense about everything. We got to get over that stuff. But the last time a guy wanted to fight me, and he wanted to fight me. He wanted to hit me. So what I said, look, after you kick my butt, they're going to have to take you to the hospital. He said, what are you talking about? He said, he's kind of drunk. He goes, what are you talking about? I said, no. I said, my head and my face is so hard that when you hit my face with your fist, you're going to shatter all the bones, and they're going to have to put screws and pins in your bones. And he goes, oh my God, I didn't think about that. He said, thank you for sharing that with me. Now I don't have to kick your butt, Sam. I said, yeah. So he thanked me for talking him out of kicking my butt. Okay.
So you basically just said, I am not the droid you're looking for.
Yeah. No, you have to turn it over to them. You have to say, yes, you could kick my butt. I got that. But you're going to have surgery on your hands. And then I went on to say, but it doesn't matter to you because you probably don't use your hands for work. He goes, no, I build things with my hands. Oh, thank you, Sam, for telling me. Then he left the bar. So that's how I broke up the last fight.
That's amazing. Sam Jones, conflict negotiator.
Look, we're trained in self-defense and all that. So the fun part is this.
Yeah,
just neutralizing the opponent without putting your hands on them. Huh? Right. They're neutralized right here.
Nice.
Okay?
Right here. What is that? Sun Tzu, right? The Art of War?
Well, yeah,
you just stay away from the fight all the way.
I just call it the Sam Jones humor.
Fair, I like that. Yeah. Now, Sam, you've been on the circuit for a while now, and you go around from city to city, country to country, and you're getting to see all these fans that have been fans of yours and in love with you for decades now.
Yes.
What is that like for you? What is it to be adored by fans for such a long time?
I call it. It's a great question. I call it the triple blessing. Flash Gordon in the movie. A job in our business is a blessing. Mm-hmm. And that's number one, the first blessing. Number two, if it does well financially or popularity-wise, box office, second blessing. And this is the triple blessing because longevity, we're still talking about it. It's unbelievable. And and because of Ted, it sort of resurrected Flash Gordon, but it also introduced that younger age demographic.
Right.
So now at my table, we should always, these fans are incredible. Right. They've been, like you said, for years. And now I'll get grandfather, son, grandson, grandmother, daughter, granddaughter, asking for the pictures and the autographs.
And that's going to be
amazing.
Yeah.
It's a triple generation. Triple blessing, triple generation.
Amazing. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Now we come out, we see all these great fans, and you talk about the different generations in that. What about your family? What does your family make of
my family's dysfunctional. I'm talking about my wife. My wife, my kids, and my grandkids. Thank God, they're doing incredible. Right. But some of my relatives we won't get into right now. I grew up kind of dysfunctional. If you saw anybody see my documentary, Life After Flash, I really address it. And it's entertainment based, but I really, especially to reach the guys, I had to really be transparent. Right. And we're not going to reach other men if we talk about how great our lives are. I had to talk about choices. Mm-hmm. Half of them were bad choices. So I talk about why I did it, the consequences that followed, and how I dealt with the consequences. So there's really some really great pieces of gold on what I call the do's and don'ts of life. But I'll give you a quick example. Not a spoiler, but my dad was a big drinker, but he was a good drunk, if you've heard of that. There's very few good drunks, but every time he drank, which was every day, and it was whiskey, he only spoke positive things out of his mouth. If you hang around heavy, hard liquor drinkers, you'll notice 98% of the time when they speak negative. Okay, my dad didn't do that. But my mom did not like his drinking, so she would nag him. So my whole life, my dad's name was Joe, my mom's name was Ann, and Ann would say, Joe, you need to stop your drinking. And then my dad would say, well, Ann, if you stop your nagging, I'll stop my drinking. Back and forth. If you stop, I'll stop that. So that was my growing up, But anyway, that was part of it. And so when I was 15, I think I left home. What does that mean? I got a job, because back then, and that was 50 years ago at 15, that means you can work. I think I was working at 13 years old without the government getting involved and going, oh no, he's too young to work. No, my God, I was providing for myself, fully providing it at 15. And then I went in the Marine Corps at 17, and boom.
Yeah, and that's got to be something that changes a man too as well. And it always amazes me when I see ex-Marines come out and go into entertainment yourself.
Once a Marine, always a Marine.
Yeah, and it seems the Marines are such friendly, funny guys. And that's the last thing you think about when watching, Steve and I grew up watching Navy SEALs.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's great.
The toughest guys out there.
Did you see that documentary? They did basic training boot camp for every branch of the service.
Right.
Did you see that?
No.
SEALs, Marines. But I think even over the Marines and over the SEALs was the Air Force pararescue units. You got to see their basic training.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's crazy. You wouldn't even think that. You wouldn't even think that.
They parachute in solo with no assistance. No, anyway. But yeah, go ahead. I interrupted you.
No. That's quite all right. I was just was going to ask if that's something that's in the training that lends themselves to that extrovertness, of wanting the, not so much the limelight, but going out and entertaining people. Because you do see a number of them. Rob Riggle, like I said, an ex-Marine as well.
Rob?
Yeah, I believe he's actually a Navy SEAL from 21 Jump Street, from all the roasts and everything. Yeah, he was a Marine before he went.
The actor?
Yeah, the actor. Wow. Yeah. I found that out watching Stone Cold's new show. He had him on as a guest, but yeah. So
I mean, some of the new shows, is it SEAL Team 6 or some of the new series, I was told that they're actually hiring former military personnel only that are now actors because they have that understanding.
And they know it better than the actors.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, hey, that's...
I think the Marine Corps taught me a lot of things. It gave me confidence. Gave me eyes behind my head. What I mean by that, discernment, situational awareness. And I think for the movie business in general, it kept me, that and martial arts, kept me from wanting to headbutt and slap a lot of people in the movie business who deserved it.
Right.
But you can't go that route. Yeah. You learn to speak words, instead of speak words, okay.
Or else you end up on TMZ.
Or maybe give them a big hug until you hear some bones crunch.
Right. You've been spending too much time with Brutus.
But Marine Corps and martial arts taught me really how not to fight. Yes, self-defense and deadly and non-deadly force, yes, but really there's another way if you don't. I remember really getting into a battle years ago at a bar, a real fight, and it was so crowded, and so all that training in martial arts and Marine Corps, it was so crowded, it came down to a basic headbutt. Because you couldn't, if I threw anything out, I would have hit the girl next to me. And it's crazy, when guys drink, they do this weird thing, you guys probably know, when they go to throw on you, it's weird. When they go back, their face comes forward. It's the craziest thing. And I went, oh, okay. Backflip over a table, I'm gone. We're out of there, But usually, again, not to sound redundant, but I've broken up so many fights and I love it. I just love to do that.
It's amazing. I think Sam, we need to bring you to Welland with us one day, and I think you'll fit in just right with us in Welland. Now, I don't want to monopolize everybody's time. If anyone has any questions for Sam, please feel free. We got the microphone right over here. Luke, come on, Luke. We knew you were first. Use the force, brother.
I just wanted to ask
everything. Nice hair.
Thank you very much.
Those boots are cool too. Now, they like the Flash Gordon boots, right? Can't really. Is it one piece?
It's one piece, yeah. It's one with a big zipper down the side.
That's what I wore in the film.
Oh, nice.
When I dressed up, as one of the Ming's guys, soldiers.
Yeah, and Star Wars stole it.
My question was actually about Stargate SG-1. Could you speak a bit about your experience on that? I thought it was a great episode.
Yeah.
The character of Eris Bach was funny. It was, and also in a serious way. Could you just speak a bit about that experience?
Oh yeah, SG-1,
yes.
the bounty hunter. I got in a little trouble because I like to improvise, but it's SG-1, they have their own language. I'm not saying it's Shakespeare, iambic pentameter, the 5-count beat, but everything is precise. The pronunciation of everybody's names, their languages. So I got in a little bit of trouble improvising, but we fixed it. But it was a difficult role for me. And I learned something very important because I think I was was it probably 40. We actually filmed that in the year 2000. So it's 19 years ago. So I'm 65 now. So whatever that math is. But I used to learn my lines of memorization by blocking. In other words, I'm sitting here, okay? So all these lines I would memorize here. Okay, now the director wants me to come up, sit next to you. So when you memorize it like that, I realize on SG-1, you're locked in. It's actually a problem. It's a big problem. When you memorize your lines based on where you're walking, where you're at, where you're sitting, or where you're hanging. So when we shot the scene outside, and I had all these props, and next to the tree, sit down on the log, cross over here, you stand next to this other tree, now stand next to Richard Dean. So all of a sudden, we did it, we shot it, great, perfect, Sam. But look, I want to change some things up on you now. Give me that, okay? I want to give you another weapon, another prop. I don't want you standing there now. I want you to sit down here first, then move over here. Don't stand next to Richard, stand next to the girl, come back here. So he said, he goes, you got it? I got it. Action. I want you to say my lines. I didn't remember anything, because I memorized it based on where I was sitting and where I was standing at the time. So I never did it again like that. I started memorizing my lines anywhere, in the bathroom, in the shower, at the movie theater, to myself, whatever, any place, anywhere, and never had an issue again.
That way blocking doesn't affect you.
Well, yeah, because you want to be open for direction, okay? And I thought I was open because I'm pretty much teachable. If you give me some, because I'm a Marine, I'm very teachable. I love following instructions. But yeah, you can't be locked in to blocking.
Anybody else? Great question, by the way. Steve?
I just want to start by saying Flash, I grew up on that.
Yeah.
Justice League all the way, so the Flash movie was like one of the first superhero movies for me.
Cool.
Big fan of Ted. Is there talk about completing the trilogy? And,
yeah, we actually signed for 3 when I signed for 2. It's all about crunching numbers, But I think they set such a precedent. A lot of people don't know, but Ted 1 became #1 in the world under the category original R-rated comedy. #1, 600 million at the box office. That's unheard of for that category. So when the sequel came out, they want you to do 2/3 of 600 million. I don't know if it did 400 million, Ted 2. So I think they're basing it on that right now. But yeah, I'd love to do it. Yeah. Yes. But see, I told Seth, I said, why do you want to put a wig on me? Just dye my hair and, blonde? He said, no, Sam, the script says Sam J. Jones shows up 35 years later, inexplicitly wearing the same hairdo. All right, okay, that makes sense. 35 years later, wearing the same hairdo. So they paid $10,000. They got a funny story. So they paid, I told you, $10,000 for this wig. I had to go to this lady. She was well-known. Renate is her name, Renata. You go to her house in Burbank in LA, and you get a fitting. Then you go back again, you get another fitting, and she makes it. And so for Ted 2, and it really looked good, by the way, on Ted 1. So when Ted 2 came along, the hair department called me and they said, do you have the wig? I said, wait a minute, why would I have the wig? It's your wig. And they go, it's missing. So somebody stole that $10,000 wig. So if you look at Ted 2, look at Ted 2 again, and especially look at my fight scenes or whatever, where there's any movement. And you'll see, I think they spent like $500 or $1,000 on it. It was cheap looking, really cheap.
So the question is, who was on Ted 1 that's not in Ted 2? I'm just saying, you might have your culprit right there.
Yes, somebody took the wig.
Yeah, for sure. Another question there? Thought I had one. Yes, go ahead. Sure.
Oh, I keep it simple. The question is about staying in shape. Well, I hang out with Lou Frigno. I've known him for 41 years. And he trains me now. When, I think we did 5 cons this year. What does that mean? That means we always have dinner every night, Friday and Saturday night. So last year we did 15 cons. That's 30 dinners. That means we get up the same morning and we train. But his philosophy is so cool. He keeps it, especially at our age. It's simple. So we get into the gym. If it's a public gym as opposed to a hotel, if it's a public gym, he'll go to the manager. He goes, look, Sam and I, we're going to work out, okay? No selfies, no nothing until after our workout. So here's how we approach the workout. So, especially a public gym. So there's no excuses. Stations, you got 60, 70, 80 stations, no matter what it is. Free weights or machines. So you go to that station, all right? If somebody's there, you skip that station. And you do light weights, absolute perfect form. You do not rest. No more than 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Lightweight, perfect form, only 10 seconds rest. And there's no nonsense. There's no, hey, how you doing? Texting. No selfies, no nothing. But again, if somebody's at that next station, you skip it. 35, 37 minutes, you're in and out, and you're done. And you could basically do every body part in 30 to 37 minutes, if you just do it that way. And you're getting your cardio at the same time. That's basically, and then of course eating, and Lou's I started to study him at the dinner table. He eats a lot, I eat a lot of food. Don't fall for that diet stuff. Now there are some good diets, I don't like that word, I think the keto diet, that are very effective. But we eat a lot, but his philosophy, everything you put in your body had better have value. 3 or 4 chicken breasts, not fried. Eat a steak or 2, not in butter, olive oil, stuff like that. Barbecue it. Dessert, yeah. Have a bite, have one little bite of dessert. Or have a piece of cake on Saturday night only, one day of the week. It's when we start compounding the bad foods is where we get in trouble. But that's it. It's simple. There's no mystery. Just eat as much as you want, value. You train, eliminate the BS, the nonsense, get in there and get it done. Simple stuff.
Obviously, I live my life the same way. I'm actually on the Uncle Phil diet, so
I like that, Uncle Phil.
We're working well. And our last question.
When you were filming Flash Gordon, did you ever get a chance to meet and hang out with members of Queen?
No, I did not, and yeah, Melody did. You see, she wasn't in as many scenes as I was. But no, I was up. I was up at 4, training, running in Hyde Park. We were in London, doing the weights, all that stuff, and then show up to work in every scene almost. And she would go out, to the club. And there was a club at that time in 1979 in London called Tramp. And it wasn't just Queen. It was Rod Stewart. It was Bianca Jagger, Mick Jagger. Everybody. If you're a boxing fan, remember John Conte? Everybody back then. But I didn't. However, in our documentary, Brian May was so cool to be in Life After Flash. And he gives you great insight, not about just the movie, but being the first rock opera soundtrack for a big movie. And he gives you a lot of insight into that and Freddie Mercury and Queen. It's wonderful.
And he's a genius, too.
He's a genius.
Brian
He's
May's
also
an astrophysicist, PhD. Yeah, which is amazing.
And they're on tour, right? This year and next year.
Yeah. Who's their singer now?
Yeah, Adam. Adam was the big. He's incredible. Yeah. I think he won American Idol.
Yeah, exactly. Or came close to winning it.
He's incredible.
But this went really quick. This went very quick. These were some great stories.
Anybody else wanted to say something real quick before he wraps it up? Oh, yeah, Life After Flash. Oh, it's on, I don't know if it's here, but in the States, well, Amazon Prime.
Yeah, we get it.
And it's on DVD. And then other people that bought it, different regions of the world. But yeah, and I really want everybody to see it. Not because I'm in it, because again, I really, I don't want, especially our younger generation, I don't want them making the same bad choices that I made. Especially when I was given good advice over the years. But also, I think as men, we spend a large portion of our lives living in insanity. But let me explain. So here I was, first part of my life, I'm 65, making these same choices over and over, expecting a different end result. That's freaking madness.
That's insanity.
That's freaking insanity. I'm making the same choices, the same horrible outcome, and I'm expecting a different end result. We, as men, if you're married, you need to listen to your wives. Okay? Okay? That's very helpful. But if I learned, took me a lot of years, like maybe I'm still working on it, okay? But if we change our choices, we will get a different outcome and result. A favorable that keeps you happy and the people around you very happy. Yeah, that's key. Pardon me? My wife is a bad influence. We all say that about our wives. Well, here's the deal. When my wife was giving me that great advice, those early years, I would say, that's how I reacted. Because, men, we don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear it. But then we realized, wait a minute. She really is looking. She's probably not just her, but maybe one other good friend in our circle that really are looking out for our best interests. Very few people are really, and it's usually our spouses, are really looking out for our best interests. So yeah, that's key. Happy wife, happy house.
Yeah, I think he's lying. She runs the roost there, so she rules the roost for sure. I want to say, one, thank you so much, Sam, for coming out and doing this. Two, all these reboots and remakes are coming out there. We got to see a Flash coming up with you in
it. It's been a Fox studio. It was a Fox Studios for 4 years in development. Big names attached. Matthew Vaughn was attached. He's huge.
Nice,
Kick-ass, Kingsman. Yep. John Davis. So what happened, and I met with them 4 years ago, Disney just bought Fox.
Yes.
So they're going to do an animated version of Flash Gordon now. So
at least, hopefully we get you voicing it.
Why not?
Right, Ryan? Why not? Let me just say what an absolute pleasure it was having you here with us, Sam. What a delightful human being you are. And it's great to see how huge of a heart that you have. And,
come on.
And for all of us Flash Gordon fans here, from all of us to you, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Sam Jones, everybody. Sam Jones.